What up, SNA assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video, and this is the NFL Sunday Night Football review video. Not the best one that I've made yet. As actually, I think this was probably worse than the one last week's game with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's barely some score. Barely some scores on the board. Like only just like a 10-point game. And if you haven't already guessed who won the game, like just take a look at my accessories I'm wearing and what exactly the color it is. But yeah, even though I don't like this team, I already let you guys know that plenty of times before in my videos. But yeah, I have no choice but to pay respects to them for this one night only. And let's hope this will be the only night I will have to pay respects to this awful team, which I just cannot stand. But without any further delay, let's get to the point and get started. And I'm gonna try to make this as easy and quick as I can. We got got the Cincinnati Bengals got the ball first, and then they were live in MetLife Stadium, and this is where we got but this is where we got Joe Burrow. Then after they passed enemy territory, they were near at the 40. This is where Joe Burrow ran the first down and even longer, and then made it all the way to the end zone with the defensive men on the right side trying to stop him, but it was too late. The damage has been done, and then they lead a 7-0 lead, I guess you could say. But this is where we got the this is where they kicked the ball right to New York next, because they already made. They made it right there. That spot is where then we got next up, which I believe is again. This time 3rd and 10. I believe it was better. I could be mistaken. But I'm saying like 180, and then this is where they were about to get ready to the snap. But this is where we got what's his name? That's where we got Daniel Jones was never mind, regroup, rehuddle, and this is where then he's like, okay, now we're back on track. This is where then we got him to throw it right onto the Cameron Taylor, But yeah, I mean, it was more better than before, but they had no choice but to kick it right back to the Cincinnati Bengals. But there was a flag on the play once as soon as they kicked it, and then when they kicked it right onto which said he probably got sack Joe Burrow for a kick, if I'm not mistaken. This is where we got it was like when he pushes him, but didn't nearly sacked him. But he's nearly sacked him right in the end zone, by pushing him, but he fell right into the ground before he can slam him down, to get a 2-point safety. This is where Joe Burrow just launched it right to the left side and then went out of bounds that way. But yeah, next up we got them kicking it right back to the New York Giants. That's where then Joe Burrow started looking right back into the playbook, what's next to do, onto the next drive that when they been receiving. But let's just be completely honest, nothing hadn't happened, not in the first or the second quarter, just to be a little bit of a spoiler here. So it's 7-0 and 0-0 on the first and second quarter respectively. But yeah, this is where they showed the NFL was partnering with the Red Cross, just like WWE, and they make sure to donate so much food from the food banks all around the world, and even in the Florida area, to get people that lost their homes or still in a flooding situation from the Hurricane Hilton and Helene. They'll help them immediately they can. This is where we got Daniel Jones passing it to Tyrone Tracy, but this is where then he only got about 2 yards, if I'm mistaken, or maybe 3, if I'm pushing it correctly. But yeah, I think it was 2 actually, because it was 2nd and 8. This is where we got what's his name? Daniel Jones passing it right on to fake passed it to Tracy, but tried to throw it to Robinson. But this is where he did not see it until the last minute, and it bounced right off his hands. This is where This is where it was third and 8 after that deflection and miscommunication. This is where then and there we got this is where we got what's name Daniel Jones is like 180, 125, like 10. It's like hike. This is where he snaps the ball. This is where he try to launch it, but this is where we got the defensive lineman, like through all four of them, stopped Daniel Jones from running it right for a first down. It was Jermaine Pratt, number 57. I believe he's a linebacker. This is where we got the referee threw a flag, however, and this is where he explained who was the flag on, and it was a holding penalty, which explains why they got extra. They had extra guys like coming out there to sack Daniel Jones so easily, and then this is where they gave New York Giants an automatic touchdown because of it. This is where then. This is where he passed it to his wide receiver, number 17, Robinson, which he got like about, I'll say, 7 yards. Yeah, but this is where they trade him out for another receiver. This is where we got. This is where we got. Oh no, I think it was an extra running back, which was Jalen Hyatt. This is where we passed it to the Tracy, but he only got like barely a yard, which is like 3rd and 2, if I'm not mistaken. This is where then we got. This is where we got Daniel Jones and threw it right onto to the Slayton. Yeah, that's what. I believe that was his tight end that he threw it to. This is where he got the first down and more, maybe like an extra 2 yards, I guess. But yeah, this is where their first down. Like even though like it was better than their last drive, they did not score anything. Because this is where they start getting denied. Even though we got Tracy getting the first down, but. That's probably the only thing that's the other only highlight I guess Tracy got like into this round. Of course, like I mean, don't get me wrong, he was the best running back of the game, like with him gaining more yards. But this is where we got Robinson throwing right, getting the ball right towards him. This is where we got Jones try again, but this is where this is where then the tragical event happened because like for the New York Giants, of course, with their chances of keeping up with the Cincinnati Bengals and trying to have a chance to make a comeback and win and start winning the game. But that's where he ends up getting picked off once he nearly got sacked by somebody on the defensive lineman, and it was Pratt like. And it was Jeremy Pratt, like the defensive tackle or linebacker. I think he's a linebacker. This is where he catched it. This is where he started running. It kind of remind me of the linebacker on the Saints when they played against the Chiefs. But the only thing different is this game was not like a Chiefs-level game like when they played in prime time, just like this past Monday. But anyways, this is where we got. But then next up, we got the Cincinnati Bengals, got the ball back, but they didn't really do much onto this drive. Like, I understand why I'm like keep talking about only just some highlighted first downs, like with what's like especially with what's his name? Was Chase Brown, that's what his name is, Chase Brown, because his brother plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I believe they're going to be playing them next week. Like, and this is going to be the battle of the brothers. Like, and they even talk about they grew up as American football fans, and also moved from their home country of Canada into the United States, most specifically the state of Florida, with a house guest family. And again, they went to college together. They got drafted into 2 different football teams. But anyway, this is where we got. But this is where we got Joe Burrow then snapped the ball. This is where then he passed it right on to what's his name? What's his name? Chase Brown. And then about that, like with him growing up with Sidney, that's what his brother's name, on the Philadelphia Eagles. And then I was thinking to myself, like this is very touching and very inspiring, especially they're not from exactly from Ohio, let alone being their second home, as well. Like in this, but yeah, they're gonna face each other. But instead, like his brother plays as the safety position on the Eagles while he's the running back on the Bengals. So that's gonna be probably the highlight of the game next week for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals. But this is where then we got this is where we got Joe Barrow going for a throw right onto to the Higgins, which he got a first down, which was their tight end. This is where they got a new set of first downs at the let's see. I'd say the 49, but this is where once they try to go for a throwing play, but it got denied by the New York defense. This is where I thought this is where we're probably gonna be seeing a game changing difference, but unfortunately that did not entirely happen. It, this is where it passed it to the running back Moss, which he's a former Colts running back, but this is where he ends up only getting I'd say like about 5 yards, maybe 7. Yeah, 7 yards actually, because it was 3rd and 3. That's where then we got Joe Barrow going for and pass right onto Moss, but it ends up getting not sacked, tackled by the defensive tackle. What's his name? Burns. Yeah, it was like I'm a monster in this division, and I'll say that may be true in your own division in the East, perhaps. But I'll say not overall in the NFL because I know who's exactly is the best defense, in my opinion. And then, but they didn't play today because they had a bye week. If y'all are aware of who I'm referring to, y'all know. But if in case not, I'm talking about my favorite football team of all time, and that is back-to-back Super Bowl champions in recent years. But that's a different story for a different day. But that's where we got. But it's where we got the Cincinnati Bengals had to kick it right back to New York. That's where they didn't do anything once again, like always. And I mean, like always, onto the game. I guess you could say this is what like would even but what's his name especially with Daniel Jones getting sacked by who was the guy in particular? It was it Hendricks? He got sacked by number 90. Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, that's what his name is. Hendrickson. He got sacked by Hendrickson. That's where he I believe he lost like about how many yards? Like 9 yards. This is where we got Daniel Jones to try to go for a run, but he hardly got like 10 yards like on the play. Like or no, 11 yards because it was like 2nd and 19. He lost about 9, but he managed to gain those yards back, and it was 3rd and 8. That's where there's like 117, 133 hike, and then is where then he snaps, try to go for a throw, which it was incomplete, like when him passing it to his intended receiver, which was right on to right on to right into Adam, but yeah, to Adam Robinson, I believe that's what his name is. But yeah, this is where he was trying to catch it, but he was a little too short, like of catching it. But this is where we ended up important prime time prime time in the NFL season. But this is where we got what's his name passing it to he knew he passed the Moss. This is where Joe Burrow to try to go for a throw, but this is where he got under pressure, and then this is where he ends up getting, I believe, a holding penalty or no, or was it illegal formation penalty? Either way, like he got pushed right back. This is where it was. They were at the 2nd and 14 line. Like with them, like when it passed it to his intended receiver, he gained like about 9 yards off the play, but he ended up getting pushed back on like 15 yards or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how in particular, but this is where This is where we got Joe Burrow then try to go for a running, but this is where he gets tackled by the New York defense. But this is where he only got a gain of two. This is where I try to throw it right on the Jamar Chase, but yeah, he can only do the best he can. This is where they had to punt it once again, to the one of the Giants' return man, which he didn't really run that much yards. This is where we got next up we have. This is where we got he. That's where we got. That's where we got what's his name, Daniel Jones, then passed it to what's his name, Tyrone Tracy, which he got a perfect first down. This is where them. This is where then they went and group up right into the 40-yard line. This is where then we got what's his name, Daniel Jones go right back and try to throw a Hail Mary, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea because it was an incomplete pass at 2nd and 10. This is where then we got. This is where then he tried to go for it again with one of his receivers, which I believe was Robinson in motion. This is where he tried to throw it right onto his tight end, like Belden, I believe. Daniel Belden, if I'm not mistaken. This is where but he only gained like about 5 yards. But despite that, this, this is where this is where then this is where the referees point out that there was two illegal shifts, like where both two receivers were doing it, like which you cannot do that against the rules. This is where I was like, what are you thinking, Giants? Like are you purposely trying to lose here? Like, because why else you would do something that's simple that you should not be doing? And then it's where then next up we got this is where we got Daniel Jones, then passed it to Tracy, but it's where and this is where we got what's his name, Nickelback, this corner that stopped the running back like before he can even gain any yards. This is where or oh no, I think that he probably lost like about 5 yards. This is where we got Daniel Jones try to go for a run, but he only got like about I'll say maybe 10 yards if I'm not completely mistaken. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm so yeah, I'm trying to remember as much as I can, but I can't remember everything when it was like a long show, like for the last 3 hours. But yeah, I believe it was 10 yards because it was 4th and 5. They had to kick it right back to Cincinnati in the punt. But yeah, I just might as well get into the point, like on when they start scoring, which that was not until the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, which was like starting at the beginning, like with which I'm gonna get into right here. Let's But yeah, during the halftime, like when it was 7-0, this is where they start showing like all the winners and the losers of the games. Like the only thing I can recall, like who won the game, like it wasn't really not that much games that was on because the likes of the Chiefs and the likes of the Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings didn't play today, and I'm pretty sure that was the same with I'll say who else was it? A couple like was it Baltimore? No, it was one of the couple other teams, but I know the particular that my boys, the Chiefs and the Minnesota Vikings, did not play today. But the only game I can remember that who won was the likes of the Chargers beating the Broncos and the Detroit Lions beating the Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below on what games that about which teams that I didn't mention that beat 24 NFL season in the comments, and also which one was your favorite football game of the week's Sunday's game. Like yeah, just let me know all down below. This is where we saw all the former NFL New York Giants players and former coaches as well. been given some very honorable rewards to, including Eli Manning, like with him being a two-time Super Bowl champion and a former Giants player. Like they had a little special ceremony with them in the halftime. But this is where they end up kicking a football right to the New York Giants. This is where we finally saw like Daniel Jones finally got himself right back up and not laying right back down, like because he needs to get back to work. If he don't put in the work, he's gonna be losing. If he lose, then he's gonna be to blame. But this is where he tried to do his best, which I think he maybe did a little bit too much. However, even though he managed to get the comeback with a first. Get a tie with a touchdown, but before he got into that, this is where he tried to throw to his first receiver, which was number 86. It was incomplete. However, it was to who was the guy's name is? It was where what's the name snapped the ball. Daniel Jones snaps it. This is where then he throws it right onto Slayton. That's what his name is, number 8. But it was an incomplete pass. This is where then we got Daniel Jones. Passed it right on to Tyrone Tracy. He didn't win nowhere. Now, and I was feeling so sorry for the running back. Like it's totally way out of his hands. Like it's totally way too much even for him. He got Daniel Jones to try to right into his tight end on the Johnson, but this were the flag on the play. However, but I was like, even if they do get penalized, like they still have made a first down, so it's not like they're gonna get not gonna turn into a replay, much rather than being pushed right back, which I believe it was like a holding penalty, which they're gonna back him up, and then it's kind of like a replay third down, but. And this is where we got Daniel Jones to try to that's where no, he passed it to one of his receivers. I totally forgot he gained the yardage, but he was down short by a couple of yards, like at 4th and 2. And yeah, I was like, what if they didn't get penalized? Like they would have probably got a first down and they would manage to tie the game. Unfortunately, like that. Well, this is where he tried to throw it to his one receiver on the left side, but this is where we got the Cincinnati Bengals blocked and and covered it and denied it. It was like, get that out of here. This is where Joe Burrow started right there at their 42-yard line, if I'm not mistaken, of the Giants already passing enemy territory. This is where we got this is where we got Mostyn start going for a run with the gain of 3 at 2nd and 7. This is where he then passed it to who was it? It was Jamar Chase, which he got the gain of 7. This is where then we got next up it was onto this drive of the Cincinnati Bengals. It was let's see. Joe Burrow managed to snap the ball, passed it to I believe to the Brown. I know it was the Moss. This is where then he got stripped out. He got the ball stripped out of him. This is where we got one of the Giants recovers the ball. This is where the referees confirmed that it is indeed the Giants' ball. This is where I was like, like they must have did it a lot. They do follow up onto this drive. This is where they managed to do so with them just gaining nothing but yards, and yeah, until they got zone. And who who got the touchdown? But yeah, this is where it passed it to the running back, throwing it to receivers. This is where we got who he threw it to to gain the yards. It was. Yeah, he passed it to the likes of Robinson, Johnson, what's his name, Slay, and even Tracy. But yeah. But this is where then we got them going to the red zone. This is where then we saw them passing it to, I believe, was Tyrone Tracy, and then he had to squeeze in to get in the end zone. Touchdown, like 7 all between the the San Francisco I'm talking about Cincinnati the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New York Giants, and then this is where we got what's his name, Higgins, trying to get a first down, but this is where Burns and a couple other defensive guys on the uh New York Giants were just continuing to try to push them back, but they end up getting an automatic first down due to the some holding penalties on the defense. This is where then we got Joe Burrow and throw it to the tight end, which his name was what his name was. It was with him going in motion and Eric Ald, yeah, Eric Ald. But this is where we got Tyler Newton like managed to knock him down. However, this is where the Joe Burrow starts screaming at his defensive guy. The only guy, I mean, all his full offensive men. This is where he barely got a yard from the last play. This is where he's like, better not make that happen again. Like, you better get at least like how much that we need, like, or even more. And then this is where fans like, I mean, it's where his teammates are like, all right, like, yeah, you're the boss, man. And this is where they, man, it did something. This is where we got this is where we got him throwing it to the other tight end, which is the Ald, yeah. But this is where we got McFadden then stops him. Like, this is where we got a penalty flag. This is where they was like, yeah, it's a person like some kind of a personal foul penalty, like with the flag on, which they're gonna call like right to half a distance mark. Or it was called off because there was no penalty. It was just the first down of the Bengals, which I was like, what was the point of throwing the flag? Like, if it was nothing major, which they somebody I better hope they can keep their job because if they're not careful, they could get fired. This is where we got Joe Burrow. Then fake pass it to Moss. This is where he tried to throw right in the end zone. Right, I believe it was to the Andre Osavas. But every time he keeps having somebody at first and second and goal, they end up getting stopped by even Higgins and who's the other receiver that he tried to throw it to. Right, he ends up failing. So in the process, this is where we got a holding penalty right on to the left guard of the offensive line on the Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, what is it? With what's his name is something Brown. Chase Brown, that's what his name is, Chase Brown. But it ends up getting called back. This is where they try to go for again, but not the same luck as like actually, if anything, it's the complete opposite with somebody on the defensive end like position, like. And it was none other than the defensive tackle, what's his name, Dexter Lawrence, that made the save, like, and did the game-changing sack, but it was all in vain, though, because they didn't manage to make a comeback off of that. That's right after Cincinnati kicked a field goal, but he does have some moves, which they showed before the most powerful force in all of sports and entertainment came on, and had the commercial break. And then going down, like if he's like a what's it? Like, I totally forgot like who I compared him with, but he do got some very impressive dance moves. But moving on, we got next up is it's where they got this drive. This is where we got Daniel Jones at a 180, 170, and this is where then he snaps the ball, throw it right to Theo Johnson when fake passing it to Tyrone Tracy. This is where you got a gain of 14, first down, and an extra 4 yards, I guess you could say. This is where then we got Daniel Jones and trying to group his team and spread them out into the positions. This is where then it was like watch that guy right there on the right, like 180, 170, like 190, 197. This is where they end up calling the timeout, which no, the third quarter ended. No, what am I even talking about right now? This is where the That's where they had a chance to score, but let's just say when they tried to score anything, they were totally unsuccessful. Which I'll like, why are you doing right here? Like this, like, and no disrespect onto the Giants. Like it's just that they didn't just play hard enough. They just be so selective. Like they only win when they feel like it. If you know what I mean. Like if they really wanted the game, they would have won it, like just by trying harder as much as they can as possible. This is where then we got but this is where we got Tyrone Tracy got like about on one play, like in the middle, he got like about 9 yards. This is where he tried to go for again, but he ends up not getting there. This is where I believe they sent out the field goal unit, if I'm not mistaken. I know they went for it again to try to get into the full range because they're still at the at 40 and 50. This is where we got a quarterback sneak, which they managed to get the first down. Like all thanks to some good blocking from everybody in the offense except for the quarterback himself. This is where they end up getting the ball, keeping the ball. This is where we got and it was Tyrone Tracy once again, like which like I'm not sure like what kind of nickname is that. I mean, not nickname. I mean, like I don't know what kind of last name is that, but it's very interesting and peculiar. But this is where we got. But this is where they end up doing exactly what they did earlier, even though it was like 2nd and 1. This is where, or inches, I should say. This is where I was like, yeah, like it's better to be safe than sorry because if you don't do nothing tricky like that, then they think they could dominate you, like because you got like a certain amount of downs. This is where then he did what Johnson tried to pass it right onto Tracy, which he got a gain of 5, if I'm mistaken. I believe it was, yeah, they believe it's 5. This is where he tried pass it right on to what's the name? Was it Hyatt? Number 13. He fake passed it to the second string running back. This is where I tried to, but this is where we got who was it? Who was it that blocked the ball, batted down into a diving specific position? It was none other than who was it? It was who was I totally forgot. Like what's his name and it by heart, but this is where we got. But since that happened, this is where we got Daniel Jones. Not let that be a bother. This is where, but it still get deflected by the Bengals defense. This is where they had to go for a field goal. But unfortunately, like in an unexpected, shocking manner, the field goal kick manages to go way to the left, and it was no good. And to be a little bit of a spoiler, like that happens again. Like it just did not have good luck when it comes to kicking a field goal for 3 points. But that's where we got the ball. They got kicked right back to the Bengals, and this is where then I was like I wonder like if they're gonna try to go for some kind of a. They're gonna go for like another touch pass, but this is where everybody on the Giants defense that we're not buying it, so we're gonna keep an eye on both you and Mr. Brown like at this time, and this is where it was all worth it because they managed to what exactly what their game was before it was that, which I believe it was 3rd and 10, so they were like I believe near the 30-yard line. No, it was at the 40. 43. The 43-yard line at the Giants is 43. This is where we got Joe Burrow. They try to go for a throw, but this is where he gets speared right into or something in his ribs, because this is where we saw Joe Burrow run right into the tent that you normally get checked out, like to see if you're hurt or not, and after taking a big hit, which I'd say I think it's okay. I think it was just a bruise, like he got kind of banged up there. Even though I'm not the biggest Joe Burrow fan, but I guess I'll send all my assassinators. But this we got is where we got Hyatt, like was fighting over with Taylor Britton, but this is where he ends up not getting the ball because I think he kind of touched him, which that should have been an it should have been a pass interference penalty, but it wasn't. It is what it is, I guess you could say. But the reason why I'm still reviewing this because I'm doing it for you assassinators entertainment, I guess you could say. But this is where. But yeah, this is where we got the defensive coach of the Bengals. Like, y'all know better than let them just get first downs. Like, this is where, but this is where they were like, but we're getting tired, which I was like y'all giving up now. But fortunately for this is where I think he passed it to one of his receivers that they roll so easily in the middle, which he should have went right to the side to the right to see somebody's open that way, or just might as well run it in for the 3. But unfortunately, he tried to after getting a few first downs, with the likes of what's his name, Joe Burrow's. Okay, that was quite of a dud. How about we try on this? They went nowhere. It was third and 12 after this run, but this is where we saw to he go step right back. This is where he skip right. OC Vine. That's where Bengals then first attempt. The second attempt was the guaranteed, which it was right here in this case for the Bengals. They got a touchdown. Those 17 sacks. They try to do their best to get sacked by the because if they didn't, they're gonna not have nothing to stop the clock to get them some extra time to score something and try to do their like with Taylor doing the one. But this is where Rondell Robinson, which they did no huddle play. This is where I believe they did a spike to stop the clock because of that. And this is where then we got them but you passed it to it was Johnson, this tight end. That's where he went right out of bounds to stop the clock, because if you do that at the end of the go attempt, with what's his name, Daniel Jones spikes the ball, none of that happened, not the field goal or the touchdown to make a comeback, because once the kicker took the game at the end of the fourth quarter, and I'll say with Joe Burrow, when the Eagles, but not on Sunday Night Football, because next week it will be the other New York team that's going to be taking on the team that hosted last week's Sunday Night Football, on October 6th. And you guessed it, and it is they're going to be hosting it once again, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And do you think they're going to win this time and finally beat an East team? This time will be the AFC East version of the New York team rather than not New York. An AFC East team rather than a below. I sure think they can, even though what's his name, Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback right now. I'll say, unless you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, I don't think you would enjoy this game. I'll say you probably think this is I'm sorry, I just did not if I'm let me know down in the comments below. Yeah, you think this game really rocks or did it really sucks? I heard right now that's going to be looking Super Bowl worthy, which I can see a couple of teams from the NFC could be in the Super Bowl. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comment section right down below. Yeah, again, what your opinions on tonight's game. But yeah, also if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the big thumbs up button and click on the subscribe and post notification bell as well for more of these videos. And the next something that's in a I'll say in a normal Sunday game, with two sorry teams, which I'm also going to be doing as well. But yeah, and please make sure to check out my Monday Night Raw hype things up for their show. They didn't really been that specific on what match is going to be on the card. I think maybe we can see a match with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez or something like that, like in some kind of a squash match. But they didn't really advertise much, like who could be facing who. We're just gonna have to see, and we're probably gonna see. Oh yeah, no wait, no way. I know. This is the pre-tape episode of Raw, which we're going to be seeing the return of a certain tag team, and we're also going to see Braun Breaker taking on Kofi Kingston, which I can say, like, make sure to check that out. And I'm going to ask you who's going to win that match in particular. Let me know in the comments about that as well. We're just going to have to see what's going on, which I only thing I can say is we're going to see a return of a tag team, their old name that they haven't used since in 5 years, since 2019, ever since they've been on the main roster. But I'm not going to say no more. But yeah, just wait until you watch tomorrow's Raw, which I've seen the spoilers. I even talked about the spoilers, like on the Tuesdays wrestling with I guess you could say, with both teams are 20, I mean, not 2-4, like right now, with the Cincinnati Bengals being 1-4. See you all on the next video with some more wrestling news video, and getting more and more intriguing by step, and I hope it stays that way. But in the meantime, just stay good to yourself. I'll see you guys tomorrow soon.